Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is mid as fuck. Now, I'm pretty much a Marvel fanboy that has watched everything that has come out Marvel the second it comes out. I have witnessed great Marvel storytelling and bad storytelling, and Quantumania lands somewhere right in the middle. Well, actually, maybe a little lower than the middle. I'm gonna try and not to spoil anything from this movie, and my definition of spoiling is that if I knew about certain things or characters showing up in the movie before it came out, it's not a spoiler. This means that if an article was written or something was shown in like a TV spot or trailer, it's fair game. So if you're someone who doesn't watch the trailers or want to go into this movie completely blind, then you should not watch this video. Alright, with all of that out of the way, let's begin. My biggest issue with Quantumania is that the story is pretty weak. Like, this might be the first Marvel movie in a long time where the story is worse than its visual effects, and I'll get to that in a bit. The plot just sort of kicks off without any build-up, and we're just thrust into the story. A lot of characters and their motivations don't make any sense to me. I would even call them fucking stupid at some points. I hate watching movies where I feel like I can make more of a rational decision than the characters in said movie. There is also a character that gets shamed for a bit in this movie, and I really did not like that. I felt like it was really unwarranted, and this character, though at least I thought, didn't do anything wrong. The plot just kind of moves around the place without any sort of purpose, and we're just presented with some plot points in this movie that tells us that it's a really big deal, but I really never felt that. We're introduced to a lot of new characters in this movie, and I could say with the utmost honesty that I did not give a single shit about these new characters. They are super underwhelming to the point where I couldn't even tell you their names. I never really felt like they did anything to impact the story. If anything, they gave the main characters motivation to try and stop Kang. But the main characters already had that motivation through other means, so it just feels like these new characters could have been removed from the story entirely and it wouldn't have suffered that much at all. The character's motivation would have pretty much stayed the same and the end result would have been the same. I think these new characters will have a greater impact on the MCU as a whole in the future, but for now I could really give less of a shit about them. The best character in this movie is Kang, to the surprise of literally no one. It makes way more sense for them to spend a little more time with this character considering they want him to be the new Thanos. And they don't make him feel like a carbon copy of Thanos. He feels like a brand new, unique threat, and I'm honestly looking forward to what this character has in stories for the future of the MCU. Though, it wasn't really that hard to make Kang stand out as a character in this movie when the entire fucking thing is full of characters that weren't exactly great. For example, the character of Janet Van Dyne. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer's performance for her was pretty shit. I really did not like her character in this movie, which is pretty fucking bad considering she might be one of the most impactful characters in it. Anytime she was on screen, I kinda just sort of rolled my eyes and waited for the scene to be over. Her character in this movie might even be worse, but I can't really get into that without actual spoilers. But just know that I did not like her performance and I did not like her character. MODOK is also in this movie, and I think it would be a fucking sin if I review this and not mention him. His character is treated like a fucking joke, and I get why. He really looks fucking weird in live action, and that's a shame because I really like MODOK in the comics and in the animated series. I didn't necessarily hate his character in the movie, but I feel like they should have done a lot more with him. It sucks they treated him as a joke, but it was honestly for the best considering how he ended up fucking looking in the movie. Like, looking back, he kinda ended up looking like a ball sack without all the wrinkles. Like, if a smoothing ray was fired towards Earth and it just happened to hit Johnny Sins in his little testes, it would have been really hard for me to take him seriously without any major changes to his character design in this movie. On the same note, this movie has some pretty cool visuals at times. Some of them are pretty abstract in the way they're presented, almost like I'm looking at a map of deep space. Some of the creature designs were pretty cool. I feel like some of them fit pretty well in this quantum realm, and I really wish they could have done a little bit more with them. The issue with all of this is where the visual effects come in. This is basically an animated movie with live action characters. And because there are so many visual effects, sometimes it looks decent and sometimes it really doesn't. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about this, but I really wasn't that big of a fan of the fight scenes for the most part. Most of the fight scenes were either underwhelming or overwhelming, if that makes any sense at all. Like, I feel like they could have done a lot more with certain fights, but it feels like they just needed to progress the plot and get things moving, so they just resorted to the easiest fights that could have broken through obstacles as fast as they could. Other times it just feels like a whole lot of dumb shit is happening on screen that if you blink you might miss something. I really didn't like a lot of the fights, except for the last one, like the very last one. That one was pretty good, and I really wish they do more fight scenes like that in the MCU. The jokes in this movie are half decent as well. Some jokes were pretty funny, but a lot of the jokes were also not funny. Like, if you like Paul Rudd like I do, I think you'll be fine with a lot of the jokes in this movie, but if you're not a fan of that witty Marvel humor, you're not gonna like a lot of the jokes in this movie, and that's all I'm really gonna say about it. This whole movie feels kind of like a mess. Like, I kind of understand why this movie has received a lot of bad reviews. Like, it's the second MCU movie that has gotten that fucking wet, stinky, rotten score, and while I really don't agree with that rotten score, I do feel like it should get a lower score than most of the MCU movies. No, not as low as Love and Thunder, though. Like, I really was not a fan of Love and Thunder, but it should be like right above it, I think. Yeah, that feels right, I think. It has to be above it, because fucking Quantumania has better visual effects by a fucking mile. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with it. Yeah, bro, I don't fucking know anymore, man. All of this shit's starting to fucking mix together. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel and check out my other videos. I'm pretty new to this, so I'm still kind of trying to figure how all this works, but I've been enjoying it, and I kind of want to do more of this. I have a few more videos planned, so be on the lookout for those. Anyways, thanks for watching.